Good morning. You know, it's not very long ago that I was sitting down where you are now. Not here among the platinums, but in the main body of the audience. And I sat there, and who here has learned a whole lot from this weekend? And who here has those little doubts that say, I don't know whether I could do this. I don't know whether I've got quite what it takes. I'm a little bit overwhelmed by it all. And if there's one big lesson to take away from this, is that you don't have to do this alone. You can build a team around yourself. I got my best results when I opened myself up to getting help from people. Third lesson, stop trying to save the world one person at a time. If I wanted to get that level of income that I aspired to, I wasn't going to do it working with people one at a time. The money wasn't there. So I went out and I found conferences to speak at. I found professional associations to talk to. I spoke to the London Coaches Group. I spoke at NLP practitioner groups. Next month, I'm at the Eurocoach conference talking on selling. And I thought, that's still not enough. It doesn't give me a big enough audience. So I created products. Every time I went out and spoke, I recorded what I was saying. I had myself videoed. It's always good to check what time of day it is. How many people were here at last year's conference? Let me just see. A couple, good. And how many people here would like to get more clients? Good, I'm in the right room. How many of you would like to get more money from the clients you've already got? Also good. That's what we're going to be covering is both of those areas. Yes, both hands up. Yes, it's always a question for us, isn't it? How do we get more clients and how do we get better rates from the clients that we've already got? So, what I'm going to tell you about today is, first of all, a little bit about me, about my background, and in particular, my history with selling, because I wasn't always particularly good at selling, particularly when I was younger. I'm going to change the way you think about selling itself. I'm going to give you a slightly different attitude towards it, because sometimes it's our own head that gets in the way of being able to sell what we do. Then I'll show you what I call my Coach Don't Sell model, a little 7-step process that I've developed, which is all about, rather than trying to sell to people, getting them to want what we want, getting them to buy what we want without having to push it at them. I'll do a little bit of objection handling. How do we get past when people say no to us? And then I'll get you to reflect a little bit on what we've spoken about. So me. First of all, my philosophy. And my philosophy to selling and to marketing is a little bit different from other marketers and other coaches, because it's all about value. And what a lot of marketers will tell you is, go out and find people who want what you want, or what you're offering. Create value for them, and then they'll pay you for it. My approach turns that round on its head and says, go out and create value the best way that you know how to. And the people that it touches the most, the people who get the most from it, will come and find you. And when they come to find you, they want to buy what you're selling. They want to pay you for what you're doing. So rather than going out hunting, it's a little bit like being a fisherman. Putting a little bit of bait out there. Doing stuff for free, giving presentations, giving talks, giving demonstrations, and then waiting for the impact of that to spread out. And people will come and find you. How do we make more money in any business? There's two ways we can do it. Sorry?
Make more sales.
Make more sales? Or?
Charge more.
Hang on. We can reduce our costs, yeah? Which of those two is easier?
More sales.
It's easier to just cut costs, isn't it? That's why most companies default to that. The only problem with that is, what happens when you reduce your costs, if it were possible, if you could reduce them to zero, you're then stuck with whatever that figure is as sales, as your income, and you can't go beyond that unless you do one of three things. What do you think they might be?
Increase your cost, obviously your charges.
Yeah. So, well, rather than charges, I'll call it the average transaction. In other words, how much people spend every time they come and see you. Whether you do it by charging, by just raising your fees, or by selling them a different service or product. What else can we do?
Number of transactions.
Yeah, so what makes up the number of transactions? It's how many clients we've got and the frequency, how often they come and buy from us. Or if you like, the total number of times that they come and buy from us. So in order to make more sales, we've got to do one of those three things. We either get more clients, we charge them more, or we get them to come back to us more times. That's the hardest one. But unless you do it first, it's very difficult to do anything with the other two. I don't think it matters what the economy is doing. What matters is what you're doing and what's going on inside your head. If you're not having the level of success that you want in your business, because the universe has given you this gift, watched you give it away, and is now taking it away and saying, well, okay, I'll give it to somebody who does value what I'm giving. And if that hour was the last hour of your life, would it really be worth what you're charging your clients for that hour? Is your life really only worth 20 or 30 pounds an hour? Because that is what you're selling. 40 or 50 or 60. You actually have to have people coming through the door. Without it, you're nothing. They are the most important thing. And so you've got to master the skills of getting clients. The world is changing. The economy today isn't what it was 6 months ago, it's not what it was 12 months ago, it's certainly not what it was 2 years ago. The result is there are a lot of people out there who are very afraid, and when they're afraid, they stop spending money. And the kinds of stuff that used to work before in growing practices don't work anymore. The people whose businesses are going under at the moment are the people who haven't been able to adapt to the new market, and haven't found new ways of going out and getting clients. They've just said to themselves, well, this used to work, it must still. And they keep advertising and marketing in exactly the same way that they used to. And clients stop coming. They say, oh, it's a little bit quiet, a little bit slow. What they really mean is, I haven't seen a client in 3 months and I don't know when the next one's coming. That's what it's a little bit quiet means. Watch what other people are doing in your market. And do the exact opposite. Do the exact opposite of what everyone else is doing, because everybody else is creating very bad results at the moment. So you might as well try something different. So you need to find a way of making yourself stand out. You need to find a way of differentiating yourself. Making yourself look like an expert. I mean, be an expert, don't just look like one. Turn yourself into an expert. And become, you have to be an authority. You have to show, for a start, results. Results will give you credibility every time. Colin mentioned the importance of testimonials. They're essential because they provide what's called social proof, which I'll talk about later. What do confused buyers do? Nothing. Yeah? So we have to give them a reason to choose us. It makes no difference to me whether a client hires me or not, but I want them to be able to make that decision. So I make it as easy for them as possible. How do we help people make decisions? We apply the skills of persuasion. The pressure socially is so great. What do we call somebody who doesn't return favors? Ungrateful, a scrounger, a welcher. The language is full of negative words for people who do not give back if you've given to them. Why not, at the end of the conversation, say, so, does this sound like something that would be of interest to you? If they say no, great, you don't need to worry about them ever again. Has anybody here ever been really interested in something, told the salesman that you were interested, and then not bought because nobody followed up? Now, how can we create liking amongst our clients? That's an interesting one. How can we get our clients to like us before they've ever met us? Why do sales always have an end date? Why is it they're only ever the last few in stock as well? Why are special offers always restricted? If you are, let's say your client rings up And what happens is, you hear the phone ring, you're sitting by it, you pick it up immediately, and you say, "Hi, so-and-so, TFT practitioner." What does that tell the client? The market for what we do is bigger than it ever has been before. The biggest it's ever been. There are people out there in pain, suffering from stress, looking for answers. They are begging for your help. And allowing your limiting beliefs about money, your limiting beliefs about the value of what you do, the limiting beliefs about your own self-worth to get in the way of treating those people and giving them what they need is selfish. 300 people were invited. You actually made the effort to be here, which already marks you out from the rest of them. The rest of them are the ones who are out there bumbling along and struggling for clients. At least you have done something about developing your business and developing your practice. Who here is worth what you're charging? Please all put your hand up. Shame on you if you don't. Now here's the question. How many of you are actually charging what you're worth? Now, what's the one thing that you can do to destroy your reputation and your credibility in an instant? So, who found that it was easier to say a higher figure that time? Who has doubled their rate? Who has more than doubled their rate? How much did you end up? How much are you comfortable with?
600.
£600 compared to 20.